It's the most wonderful time of the year, or is it? Welcome to this episode of the Lighter Way podcast. We are kicking off December this week, and I want to talk about some of the challenges that we're likely going to face, how to face them with confidence, how to make sure our self care is on point, and how we can prepare ourselves to head into the new year with empowerment and strength and positivity and intention. So, are you ready for this episode? I know I am. Let's go. So, hey, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to December, right? I hope that you had an amazing Thanksgiving. I hope that you enjoyed the last episode with Rochelle Babler. Is she not amazing? I love her. We've had so many amazing guest interviews on the podcast during this last month of November. So, if you haven't listened, please go back and check them out. I'm really focusing on right now on how we can keep our health and our mindset at its peak as we finish out this year and typically the most stressful season of the year, right? For some of us, it's the happiest time of the year, but I think for most of us, it's actually very stressful. It could be good stress, but it's stress nonetheless. And your body feels stressed regardless if it's happy or not, right? So, here we are in December. Here we are with cold weather around the corner. We have holiday parties. We have shopping. We have, or maybe not shopping. We have all these things up ahead of us. And so I want to ask you, are you feeling like your plate is too full? Are you feeling stressed about the get togethers that are being piled onto your calendar? Are you a little overwhelmed with the idea of New Year's resolutions? What about as you think about next year? Are you desperate for next year to be different than this one? And how do you feel about the goals that you set for yourself this year? Did you hit them? Or are you celebrating or are you discouraged? Are you feeling like I don't know if I'll ever, reach that business milestone or reach that financial milestone or health milestone, whatever that is? Well, I want to talk about it briefly today. So, are you ready for this? Get a piece of paper and pen, and I want you to jot down any of these ideas that might work for you. And again, every it's not a one size fits all. So some of the things that I share with you might not work for you, and that is okay. I'm sharing from personal experience and from what I have used and helped other women that I work with in my Lighter Way life coaching program. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. So, first, we need to start taking some time to tune inward and focus on what it is that we need. What is it that we need right now? When we get stressed, when we get overwhelmed, we tend to just go into our autopilot and we react in whatever that way is that we've been conditioned. It might be overeating, it might be overworking, it might be avoidance, it might be, spending crazy money, whatever it is. You know you better than anyone else. So let's start looking inward to see like how are we actually feeling? I shared this in the Thanksgiving message. There's a meditation called RAIN, and the RAIN stands for a four-step method of checking in with yourself. You can look it up on YouTube. It's by Tara Brach, Brach, or you can just sit and journal and think about these four parts of tuning in with your intuition and with what your body and your mind is telling you. So the first is to recognize, how am I feeling right now? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling stressed? Am I feeling like I want to avoid everything? I want to retreat? Am I feeling that I really need to be around people this year? I've been isolated so long. Am I feeling fearful that I don't know, all the being around socially? Maybe you're very anxious with COVID and all the things going around, maybe being socially isolated now. It is legitimately anxiety producing to be in gatherings of people. And how do you explain that without fear of, what people will say to you? Whatever that is, tune in and recognize, how are you feeling? How's your body feeling? Are you feeling tense? Are you feeling like in your gut. I know with me, I just know my gut when my gut's not right. It just feels clogged is not I don't want to sound gross, but you know what I mean? It just as it feels like heavier, it doesn't feel clear and clean. You know what I mean? Like you just it's that sense that you have. Or how's your brain feeling? Are you feeling foggy brained and distracted, or are you feeling like clear and concise? Just focus on recognizing, taking an inventory from head to toe. How are you feeling? Body, mind, and spirit. How are you feeling? And without judgment, without editing, I recommend you journal it out. And then the next letter is A, which is allowing that, which is if you're journaling or whatever, it's kind of the same, working together, right? You're just allowing those thoughts to flow, allowing them to be present. That looks like, for example, if you feel resentment, say resentment is coming up, not trying to stuff that down and say, "Oh, I shouldn't be resentful. That's not nice. I should push that down." Like, no, I don't want to feel resentful towards my family member. Like, that's not really true. It's just allowing it. It's just letting it pop up and just noticing that it's there. We can grow so much, and we can break through strongholds and mindset blockages when we just allow our feelings to be without judgment. Feelings are not facts, they just are. So we need to hold them out and look at them, and then we move on to A, which is investigate. What is behind this? What is causing this? For using that example, what is causing this resentment? What is causing me to feel tight in my body? Is it, have I been working out too much? Have I been falling asleep on the couch? Or is it, like stress tension? Just investigate. Or maybe like, what are the beliefs that this is coming from? What do I believe that's causing this? Am I believing that this social situation is going to unfold in this certain way? Like, I think I know how this is going to go. And so I'm creating that stress on myself. Whatever that is, investigate, figure out what's at the root of it. What is the core belief behind it? And you might find that that core belief is not in alignment with your values. For example, your core belief might be that, I'm just throwing this out here. If this is for you, then great. But maybe your core belief is that if I'm my authentic self at this gathering, I will be rejected because I believe that these people in my family, just will not, they will not understand, right? That's a core belief that you have. But maybe that goes against your value that I believe that, everybody, can be loving. I believe that we can communicate in a way so that there is love, so that there is acceptance. I believe that if this doesn't work out, I'll be okay. Their issue is not my issue, right? You see what I'm saying? So you need to think about, what is this belief? It may not be factual, but what is this script that's running in your head automatically, which is just our survival brain working, right? And what is our value? And if they don't align, then we can look at that belief and say, okay, yeah, that's not working for me. I need to rewrite this script. I need to reboot it. I need to focus on what my values are and what my true beliefs are, what I know to be true. It's something that we can stand firm on. And then we talk about the N is for nurture, or needs. What do I need right now? Do I need to have a honest conversation and set some boundaries with myself? Maybe I need to set some boundaries with myself. Maybe I need to set some boundaries with my bedtime. Maybe I need to set some boundaries that I need my quiet time in the morning and I'm not getting it. I need to have a conversation with the other people in my house that I need that time in order to feel my best. Maybe it is talking to the people who are coming over, or whatever party you're going to, or making a commitment to yourself that this is one topic that I'm not willing to talk about, and come up ahead of time with your response, how you'll handle that. You can find a lot of responses. I saw a lot of it, at least in my feed on Instagram. Lots of ways you can respond. When people make comments maybe about what you're eating, about your weight, all those kinds of things, know ahead of time how you're going to respond. Set those boundaries up. So that's one thing that we can do. One little process there that you can do as you head into this holiday. If you're feeling a little bit of stress and anxiety, a little overwhelm, I know for me, we have a lot of milestones happening this year. For me, December is like a culmination of the last 2 years. It's really big. And I do find myself, if I'm being totally honest, I do find myself feeling a little bit anxious, like cautiously optimistic. And this underlying anxiety of like, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And so I'm sharing with you the things that I personally do myself to quell that. I don't know if those feelings will ever go away for us, right? We're human. We do have a survival brain, right? Our brain does have a certain reaction to things, either fight, flight, or freeze. So that's just going to happen. But how we react after that initial feeling is up to us. So we need to have a little toolbox of ways to manage the rest of our year, or manage our days every day, with ease and with peace. And that comes from recognizing what's going on, allowing it, investigating what's going on, and then coming up with a way to nurture ourselves so we can feel better. Ways to nurture yourself may be getting more sleep, getting more exercise, drinking more water. Notice I'm not talking about depriving anything, but you also might want to look at what you're eating. Are you eating foods that give you energy, or are you eating foods that, out of habit, that are fast, quick, whatever, that may make you feel better in the moment, but they are causing inflammation in your body and you're not feeling well afterward? It's hard. I know it's hard. I'm a recovering emotional eater, and sometimes there's days that you, even when you're healed, that you just want to have that comfort food, but then pretty soon after you realize, like, yeah, now my body feels yucky. And your gut is like your second brain, or maybe even your first brain. What you're doing to your gut is going to affect your brain. So nutrition does matter. Okay, so those are some of the things for, emotional, physical, and spiritual too. How are you feeling spiritually? Are you connecting to God? Are you connecting to whatever it is that fills you up spiritually? Are you in the Word? Are you reading books that that are encouraging you and uplifting you? Feeding your mind. Are you working on things that keep your mind active and working towards your goals? And so then I want to talk about goals. How do you want to start the next year? We have 30 days. Well, it'll be less than 30 days by the time you listen to this podcast. But how do you want to finish this year? As you look back on the goals that you set, whenever, maybe in January, maybe it was later, how are you doing with those goals? And take some time to assess. Get your old notebook out. I know if you're like me, you had these great goals. You had this day or a week or a moment of huge inspiration, and you wrote it all down, and you put that book away and you didn't look at it again. I want to encourage you to get that book out and look at those goals that you set and celebrate the heck out of yourself. Give yourself a high five. Celebrate the heck out of your accomplishments this year. And even if things didn't go as planned, I want you to think about all of the circumstances you overcame this year, all the tough things that you prevailed over, all the things that you came out stronger from. Focus on gratitude, focus on the lessons learned from the hard things that you had to do this year, and celebrate that. Really, really, really give yourself some time to celebrate all your accomplishments this year. And then use that as fuel for focusing on the next year. How do you want 2022 to look for you? A year from now, what will you be celebrating? It's pretty exciting when you think about it. So think about those things. What do you want to do in your personal life, your professional life, your relationships? What do you need to prune and what do you need to cut out? This month, I'm going to have an interview with Nicole Kellen, who's going to talk about the weight of clutter. And so, what are those things that you need to physically, emotionally, spiritually cut out Think about those things that weigh heavy on you. There might be some relationships in there that are not lifting you up. It's more like you're being pulled down to their level instead of pulling people up. It's okay to walk away from relationships. I saw a message, I think it was from Dr. Caroline Leaf. It was either her or Mel Robbins. I think it was Dr. Caroline Leaf. And she was saying how don't feel bad about relationships or friendships that die because they come into our life. People come into our life for a season of the exact healing that we need at that time. And then when we're healed, we don't that friendship changes, right? Sometimes that happens that way. It's okay. You can cut those ties when the healing season is over or when lives change and they go separate ways. You don't have to carry the baggage of, oh, I didn't keep that relationship going. We were so close for that time. Yeah, for there's a season for everything, right? We have most of us have very few roots in our life, roots that are there forever for the long run for every season. You only need one. You really only need that one 3 a.m. friend. You don't need a lot of them. We need lots of branches that come around for a healing season and break off. Eventually, we also need leaves that are there for a brief moment. Appreciate them all. Don't try to make everyone a root, right? Everyone, and you are the same to other people. It's not just how people are with you. You have the same effect on other people. There are other people who have healed and they may want to end that relationship with you for their own reasons. We just have to keep moving on. Life evolves and God will bring new fresh people and opportunities into your life. So be looking forward to that. But also there's physical clutter, of course. I always start decluttering in October, November, and it's great. I've gone through all the major clutter spots in my house. It's awesome. I just like to prepare for winter that way. So maybe there's some spaces you want to declutter that way. Maybe your calendar is cluttered. Maybe your life is cluttered. Maybe you have too many commitments. Start considering those things that you don't want to take into the new year and cut them out of your year. I also want to encourage you to think about your personal and professional goals. Next week will be an interview with Jana Butler, who is a strategist. She helps women in business, and she is amazing. She speaks the truth about stepping into your power and the challenges of being a leader and being in business as a Christian woman or a woman of faith. I think oftentimes as women of faith, we really struggle with standing out, setting ourselves apart from the crowd and maybe setting ourselves apart from our Christian sisters, right? That we don't want to be seen as being vain or having selfish ambition and all those kinds of things. It's a real mind trip. And Jana is just like so powerful in her messaging about standing in your power and giving God a big assignment, as she says. And so that'll be next week. Be sure to listen to that. Amazing. And I want to encourage you to focus on what do you want for yourself in this next year? It's okay to want and it's okay to set goals and it's okay to go after them. It's more than okay. We glorify God by living our life on purpose and with intention. And so I want to invite you as well, if you are interested in taking your profession to the next level or taking your life to the next level. I will be taking on new one-on-one clients in the new year. As you know, I've taken a little bit of a break this fall. I really needed to take care of myself, take care of things in my own personal life, and also do some tweaking to my program. There'll be more news coming out later this month. I'm really excited to share it with you. But if you're interested, be sure to sign up for my newsletter. The link is in the show notes there so that you can stay up to date on all the latest happenings. Right now, I'm just doing a once a month letter. So it's not a bunch of spam. It's never spam, but it's one email a month. And if there's anything special coming up, you'll be the first one to know. Also, be sure to get into my self-care sisterhood Facebook group. Link in the show notes and share with a friend. Maybe sit down with a friend, take a friend out to coffee and talk about like, if there was no obstacles, how do you want to be, where do you want to be a year from now? If we were to sit here having coffee a year from now, what would we be talking about? What would it take to get there? What would be the first thing that you could do to get started? Who would help you? Who would you tell? All those great questions. Can you tell I love talking about goal setting and really just living your best life? It's my passion. It's my passion. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to help with the Light Away Life Coaching Program. So that is it for this week's episode. I'm so excited for this month. There's just a lot of good stuff coming out. I have even more better interviews coming with guests in January. We are really going to be just bringing the boom here on the Light Away podcast. And by the way, if you have a topic that you'd like me to share more about, please drop me a line. Let me know. I'd love to hear what you would love to hear more about. All right. Until next time, my friend, remember you are amazing. You were designed exactly the way you are on purpose because you have a purpose. And I believe in you. And never let anyone dim your light. Until next time, peace out.